The galactic core was alive with laughter the day the humans revealed their first interstellar warship. The gathered species of the Grand Assembly watched as the vessel drifted across the display screen, slow and heavy, moving like a tired whale through space. Compared to the sleek ships of the Thal, the crystalline designs of the Vorai, or the swarm craft of the Drekir, the human warship seemed ancient, even primitive. Its lines were rigid, its hull dull gray, its engines emitting low, sluggish pulses. "Is that really their battleship?" a Thal commander asked through static amusement. "It looks more like a mining tug." Laughter rippled through the chamber. The human ambassador, a calm figure in a dark uniform, didn't respond. He merely folded his hands behind his back and stared at the projection as if measuring the laughter itself. The Grand Assembly had gathered to witness the demonstration of the human fleet's flagship, a vessel they called Resolute. The humans had recently been accepted into the Galactic Accord, a peacekeeping coalition of over 400 civilizations. While most species celebrated new members, others doubted the humans. They were newcomers, barely out of their own solar system, and already boasting of defense capabilities that no one believed. The Resolute glided to a halt in the blackness of the testing zone. Its communications officer announced the beginning of the demonstration, voice steady. "We will now activate propulsion, shields, and targeting systems." The Thal commander smirked. "We've seen propulsion. We've seen shields. Let's see if this warship can even track a drone." The humans launched their test drones, simple, fast-moving metallic orbs, programmed to simulate enemy vessels. As the drones darted in formation, the Resolute didn't respond immediately. Instead of sleek turns and bright flashes, the ship seemed still. For long moments, nothing happened. The Vorai representative leaned toward the human ambassador. "Perhaps your systems are slower than anticipated?" The human didn't answer. Then the Resolute spoke. A low hum filled the chamber speakers as the warship's central spine glowed. Energy began to gather at its core, faint at first, then rising like a storm building beneath calm waves. The hum deepened, vibrating through the observation deck. One by one, the test drones vanished. No sound. No beam, no explosion. Just a flicker of space itself, and the drones were gone. The laughter stopped. The Thal commander frowned. Did they deactivate the test field?" The monitoring officer checked the telemetry. Negative. The drones were erased. Erased? The human ambassador turned slightly, his voice calm and cold. "We call it a gravitic collapse cannon. It folds the local space-time region. No heat. No shrapnel, just absence." The room was silent. The Vorai delegate shifted uneasily. "That technology should be impossible for your development stage." The human looked at the display again, tone unchanged. "So was surviving our own history." Word spread through the assembly faster than light. The humans had arrived with something new, something terrifying. Yet, despite the demonstration, the others convinced themselves it must have limits. Surely the weapon could not fire often. Surely it consumed massive amounts of energy. Surely the humans had built one ship as a showpiece, not a fleet. Months passed. The laughter returned, quieter this time, but still there. Then came the Drekir War. The Drekir were not part of the Accord. They were scavengers of the Spiral Arm, a nomadic race of hive-minded conquerors. Their fleets traveled like storms, consuming systems, stripping planets, enslaving survivors. They believed themselves unstoppable, and when they heard of a fragile human race with a single slow ship, they decided to test the rumor. The first Drekir fleet entered human space through the Epsilon Corridor. Hundreds of ships moving in disciplined formations spreading through the edges of the Sol frontier. The response came from Resolute. The humans sent only one message to the Drekir fleet. "Leave." The Drekir ignored it. The battle was witnessed from the relay satellites of 3 neighboring civilizations. They expected to watch humanity burn. Instead, they watched the void tear open. The Resolute didn't maneuver. It didn't run. It simply turned, aligned its long hull toward the approaching armada, and fired once. Light bent around the blast zone. The Drekir fleet ceased to exist. No wreckage, no radiation, just silent, unbroken stars. The observers transmitted the footage to the Accord Council. Within days, every major power had begun emergency meetings. Every broadcast repeated the same line. One ship destroyed an armada, yet even then doubt lingered. Surely the humans could not sustain such weapons. Surely it was a desperate measure. Surely the Drakir's return would crush them. The Drakir returned, this time with 5 fleets. The humans sent 1 ship again. It wasn't even the Resolute. It was the Vigilant sister ship of the same class. The result was the same. 5 fleets erased. No survivors. The Drakir hive collapsed within a week. Its command nodes gone, its will shattered. Humanity didn't pursue. They didn't boast. They simply withdrew the Vigilant to orbit around Mars and resumed silence. The other civilizations tried to understand how a slow, heavy human ship could defy every known law of engagement. A Thal analyst once described it. It moves like a glacier, yet kills like a supernova. When the Accord finally invited the human admiral to speak, he arrived without guards. His name was Mark Hale. His voice was quiet, his presence unassuming. "We built the Resolute not as a weapon," he said, "but as a promise. We wanted peace to mean something again." The Vorai asked, "Then why give it such destructive power?" Hale looked up. "Because every treaty needs a memory of what happens when peace fails." The Assembly didn't know how to respond. Years passed. Humanity remained within its borders, trading, studying, never attacking. The Resolute became a legend. Other races began building heavier ships, mimicking the human design, trying to recreate the impossible weapon. None succeeded. Then came the Kalar offensive. The Kalar were not conquerors like the Drakir. They were believers driven by prophecy that the galaxy must be cleansed of machines of death. They declared war on the Accord itself. Their fleet struck deep into core systems, targeting defense outposts and colonies. Worlds burned. The Accord, fractured by politics, could not respond fast enough. When the Kalar reached the outer human colonies, the humans sent no ambassadors. They sent the Resolute observers, once again laughed at first. The Kalar armada filled entire sectors. The human ship drifted toward them like a relic of an older age. The Kalar opened fire first. Their energy lances crossed the void, engulfing the Resolute in a storm of light. Sensors screamed of annihilation. When the storm cleared, the human warship still stood. Its hull glowed dull red but intact. Then the ship's forward spine unfolded. Instead of the single gravitic cannon, 12 smaller emitters aligned. Each pulsed once. The Kalar fleet vanished. All of it, an entire armada, gone without sound. The battle report later called it event compression. The Resolute had weaponized a field that made time itself collapse in pockets. The Kalar ships didn't explode. They ceased to exist in chronological space. The Accord broadcasted emergency channels again, but this time there was no laughter. Only silence. The Thal Prime Consul asked the humans directly, "How many of these ships do you have?" The human representative didn't answer immediately. Then, with quiet certainty, he said, "Enough." That word echoed through the galaxy. Enough. No one dared to test what it meant. Whispers spread that the humans had more ships hidden within the asteroid belts. Others claimed they had planetary engines capable of erasing entire systems. None of it was ever proven. The humans never confirmed or denied anything. They simply watched. When a minor dispute broke out between the Vorai and the Thal, human envoys arrived, not with weapons, but with a single data chip. The message contained recordings of past wars, of human battles from ancient Earth, wars fought with swords, with fire, with nuclear storms. "Peace," the message read, "is the most violent lesson we ever learned. Do not make us teach it again." No one challenged them after that. Decades later, long after the Resolute was retired, a young cadet from the Accord Academy visited the human archives. He found the logs of the first ship's design, expecting to see blueprints of impossible technology. Instead, he found something else. The core weapon wasn't alien. It wasn't even beyond physics. It was human ingenuity, simple, brutal, efficient. The gravitic cannon was a chain reaction of gravity wells, carefully synchronized using obsolete fusion algorithms. It shouldn't have worked. It did because the humans built it knowing the risk. The log ended with a note from the original engineer. "If it fails, it destroys us too. That's why it won't fail. Because it must not." The cadet stared at the words for a long time. It wasn't madness. It was resolve, the kind of determination that no calculation could predict. When he returned to the academy, he reported to his instructor. "They built those ships knowing they might die." The instructor nodded. That's what makes them human. Centuries passed and humanity became the quiet power behind the Accord. They rarely interfered, rarely fought, yet every world knew the truth. The humans were slow to anger, slow to act, but when they moved, the galaxy itself trembled. The Resolute was eventually decommissioned and placed in orbit above Luna, turned into a museum. Delegations visited it every year, walking through its silent corridors, staring at the scarred metal that had once erased fleets.